Next up is an expert presentation by Namit Chopra. He's part of EXL Analytics, and he's got more than 15 years of experience in providing advisory and analytics services to many of the leading global insurers. He's focused presently on designing innovative delivery models that have been instrumental in the market-leading success of EXL's insurance analytics practice. So let's hear from Namit with respect to what he has in store for us.
No. All right. Thank you. Just a quick introduction. Namit, I've been part of EXL for the past 15 years. And work in the PNC insurance space, called PNC in the US, but general insurance in India. That's what we learned the hard way with a lot of our clients. And what I'll talk about today is generative AI in insurance. Now everyone is hearing the buzzword generative AI, you're probably hearing it across the internet, across your colleagues, but what does it really mean? And what implications does it have for the insurance industry is something we'll try and cover today. So what's all this hype about? I think just moving on to the next slide. Okay, it's what I said, it's really become the talk of the town, and what we've, just some industry stats in terms of what it's doing for the market right now. About 73% of the Indian population is primarily using generative AI. Now that doesn't mean that 140 or the 1.4 billion people, 73% of that, it's really the ones who are online, digital savvy. And you can see it's similar numbers for the Australian, US, and the UK population. So it's really having a deep effect in terms of technology, in terms of how it's kind of invading our lives and really changing the tech landscape. What the research also, this is something which was published by Salesforce. The research also kind of pointed out that about 65% or 2/3 of the generative AI users are the Gen Z and millennials, and about 3/4 of them are primarily employed. So a lot of them are primarily using Gen AI in one form or the other in their respective work areas, or really in any of the areas wherein they are looking at productivity gains or their overall gains in their overall activities they might be doing. And about 6 in 10 users, or about 60%, are kind of getting into mastering the technology because of the disruptive effect it's having on the industries they're working in. These are some more stats. I won't spend a lot of time on this, but really, ChatGPT, we've all seen examples. The users, active users for ChatGPT has gone up by about 100 million in the past 2 months. Global GDP about 7 trillion, which is being driven by Gen AI. And really the spending on cloud, now that's the most fundamental component of Gen AI. These models are data hungry, and they are primarily models which require a lot of data to train on and a lot of compute, or really the above processing power which kind of goes into training these models. So the spending on cloud, or hyperscalers as we call it, is kind of going us tremendously as well. And that's expected to reach about $320 billion by the end of 2025. So enough about stats. I think what does it really mean for us, and what does it mean for the insurance companies globally and in India as well? Moving on, Dheeraj. So these are just initial snippets of what insurance companies are leveraging Gen AI for. So if you see, one of the largest insurers in the world globally, Zurich, is primarily experimenting with ChatGPT for both claims and data mining. When it comes to claims, it's really looking at the enormous amount of unstructured information which comes in during the claims process for any insurance company in the US. Now, these could be loss notes, these could be medical records, or these could be legal documents. How do you make sense of the vast amount of data which is coming in and really synthesize it and present it in front of the claim adjuster? That's something Zurich has been experimenting quite a bit, and they've been in the news lately. Similarly, there are a whole bunch of other examples. Tokyo Marine, for example, has been investigating a lot of ChatGPT applications and their policy processing processes. And the intent there is to how do you kind of summarize and really aid your frontline workers in terms of giving them productivity benefits, in terms of giving them summarizations through the usage of large language models like Llama or ChatGPT or some of the others which are out there in the market. So clearly there's been a lot of appetite for insurance companies globally to kind of try out generative AI per se. Uh, I'll move on to the next page, which is really kind of talking about, of course, AI is having its iPhone moment. We just put it out there. But as we kind of think about what does it really take? Yeah, we will probably kind of, all right. So if you think about the AI universe, everyone is talking about AI, but what does it really mean, right? So if I look at the when chart on the left, it's primarily talking about you have artificial intelligence as the all-encompassing technology kind of across different technical realms per se. You have machine learning, which kind of made quite a stride over the past decade or so. Then we spoke about deep learning with more compute power coming in with the hyperscalers, be it Google, Azure, or AWS. And then you had NLP, which has been around for the past 5 decades or so. It couldn't advance quite a bit because of low compute power which was available. And really, generative AI and LLMs are primarily sitting at the intersection of NLP and deep learning. So when I say NLP, think about long LSTM models, or think about some of the other applications of NLP, which a lot of insurance companies are using. And then generative AI and LLMs are primarily focused on using some of these generative models, which I'll come to in a bit. The intersection of these two is primarily generative AI, or really the ability to kind of generate text per se. How it works, you feed in any amount of data to a generative AI model, be it unstructured images, code, scripts, text documents. An LLM foundation model, which is already pre-trained on a large corpus of text, be it the Wikipedia or the entire Internet Archive, would actually kind of act as a starting point. You really fine-tune it with your specific domain and your specific use case. So for example, if you are running a contact center for an insurance company, you actually augment the data for your specific use case onto the foundation model, retrain it through something which is called as a transfer learning mechanism, and get to parameters which can actually kind of generate text or really help out your agents to kind of answer your customers in the right way. So all in all, there are these 3 broad components or 3 broad steps which encompass any generative AI application. And we will kind of just do a quick 30-minute deep dive into what that means. Moving on. Yeah, so what are the key components? While I spoke about how it works, what are the key components of any generative AI application per se? While modeling analytics and the large language models are one key component, and everyone is aware of what's a ChatGPT or a Llama or Phi-1, which might be available, but the important building block for any generative AI application is really looking at overall data foundations. What we've noticed for a lot of insurance companies is that while they have data science being done in silos across claims, operations, actuarial, and so on, they do not have the right data foundations. And at EXL, we are actually focused on creating the right data management solutions for our clients, which can actually stitch together information across claims, policy admin systems, or actuarial or underwriting, and customer interactions or CRM systems to actually give you the right foundation to make use of this revolutionary technology per se. So that's something which I wanted to hit hard on before we move forward. I'd say if you think about generative AI as more like an iceberg, the tip of the iceberg is really the models which we speak about, but really, next slide, Dheeraj. I know I have 2 minutes left, so I'll kind of speed through this. But really, as you think about prompt engineering, LLMs, and fine-tuning, the underlying data, and if you think about data, there are a whole host of databases which are made available by Gen AI. This could be vector databases, this could be imagery data, videos, audios, and so on. How do you manage that data or really kind of bring it all together to create that single source of truth and really ensure that it's available almost real time for a lot of the Gen AI applications you might have in place? That's something which which we believe is foundational for any Gen AI use case to be successful in an insurance company. I'll go to the case examples given the paucity of time, and some of the areas where we are working with our clients is usually focused on customer servicing and claims. And I'll just kind of talk about the first one, which is really better customer servicing. This particular use case is primarily for one of our largest insurance clients, where we are kind of focusing on integrating data from a lot of their third-party contact centers, which kind of do a lot of agent calls and customer calls for them. Am I audible? Okay. Which do a lot of agent call and customer calls for them, and really the ability to kind of get those transcripts into the AWS environment and separating out the speakers, be it the agent or the customer, is really the foundational piece of data which is going to be required. Once that is done, now this is done using an AWS service transcribe. We actually move on to creating a vector database using meta technology. The intent here is to kind of create word embeddings, leveraging some BERT embeddings which are already in place, fine-tuning them with data which is available for this particular insurance carrier, and creating that chunking database and loading it into a vector database per se. The final output is primarily a question answering system using generative AI, wherein the intent is to kind of have the underwriter interact with the system or kind of put in information corresponding to a particular customer's questions or queries, and get back to primarily the next best action on a customer or a particular agent, depending on how the conversation is going. We've enabled this with LangChain, which is probably we spoke about AutoGPT or MetaGPT, which are out there, but operationalizing some of these generative AI applications does require going the whole nine yards and really creating that front-end system. So we've enabled that through LangChain. While this is more like a POC, if that's not the right word, but we've been getting tremendous results in terms of how they've been leveraging this almost real time in their contact center space. The second example, I'll just take 30 more seconds, is focused on automated claim settlements. Uh, this is again reimagining the overall end-to-end claim settlement process for a large general insurer. And the intent here is, as you think about claims data, a customer can log in a claim through a variety of mediums. This could be online, this could be through a paper form, or this could be calling in. So there's a whole host of data which you're collecting at FNOL, or the first notice of loss, to kind of get information from a particular customer. All of that, I spoke about the foundational data piece.
early claims are always a concern for the insurance. And what I mean by early claims, specifically as per the IRDA definitions, those who bought the policies and got a death claim in the first 2 years. But usually when we work in the LNA, we target 1 year, 1.5 year. Is this model which you talked about, the solution you talked about for the PNC side, can we use the learnings or the examples from this, how we can utilize this in the LNA space to predict the early claim chances?
Yeah, but I think definitely. So as you think about some of these large language models, the sorry, the context of how you use these models is critical, right? While the use case I spoke about was from a general insurance perspective, and the claim flow for a general insurance claim will be different from a life insurance claim, the overall architecture or the model fine-tuning is something which could be leveraged, but adapting it to a specific life insurance claim process is something which will need to be accomplished through fine-tuning the model. The answer to your question is yes, partially, but with a lot of fine-tuning for the specific use case you talked about.
Yeah, got you.
Yeah.
So data and all those things definitely
Yeah.
from the life side, but the concept, the codes and the flow that we can use here.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks. No worries, no worries.
There itself. We just want to understand, because probably I missed you explain that. So we just want to understand that how the AI can play a critical role in distribution of insurance, especially means insurance sales.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
there, actually we want to understand how we can apply to the AI and ML more to get the data and to create a more better pull product instead of a push product.
Sure, sure. Dheeraj, if you want to go to the slide wherein we have the insurance use cases, that's a slide I skipped because we were running short on time. But you can think about, so one of the things we are doing right now, and this is again a live use case, is creating an agent assist kind of a model, wherein the intent is, if you think about your overall agency population within the insurance company, there would be certain high performing agents who are actually kind of selling insurance policies for you, and they are bringing in a lot of profitable business, and there are agents who would primarily kind of are low performers and are not doing great for you. Are there any winning behaviors which you can actually get from your top performing quartile of agents and replicate it to your other agents who can then drive growth for you? That's how we've enabled this use case for our client. So we analyze the behaviors of those top performing agents in terms of what kind of conversations they are having with their clients, what is their outreach, how do they follow up on their conversations, and really kind of model that through a large language model per se. Now, when you have the lower performing agents, obviously they don't have those characteristics. So how do you replicate that? And that's where we kind of come up with a key set of attributes or winning behaviors which the lower performing agents are then kind of trained on. And once that is done, you automatically start tracking agent behaviors. Are they following the low performing agents? Are they following the right winning behaviors which they were expected to do?
So I will really tell you, reason
Yeah.
being the type of distribution network we have. We have
Right.
close to 26 offices across India.
Right.
And this is the challenge actually we are facing, because our model of sales in insurance, especially we are selling LI. And our model is more a one-to-one model, face-to-face model, where our agents are directly explaining products, and then they are selling. And
Yeah.
what only thing which we are able to realize that the employee who is able to get a better connect with a customer,
Exactly,
emotional
exactly.
connect, I will say, not even the technical connect, emotional connect with the client, he is able to sell through the product. Otherwise, other find difficult to sell the product. So
Yeah.
the challenge which right now, that's why I'm saying where I'm looking AI in insurance sales is how we can create a data, how a AI can help to create a data that even a normal sales executive can become a super executive.
Yeah, super sales executive, I'm not sure if that's an easy path per se, but
That's why I'm saying how I can enable him with the data. Definitely,
Right,
he
right.
is, every person have its own aura, and in sales sometimes the aura helps a lot. So every person have its own sales aura for himself, which helps him to sell the insurance. But how the data can help him to create that
Absolutely.
aura?
So-
This is where I'm looking the AI role actually in it.
Sure, sure. So as I said, so you primarily divide your agents which you have within your particular population into different personas, right? When I say personas, you will have high-performing agents who establish a super connect, and you study the behaviors or the winning behaviors corresponding to those agents, right? What are the kind of conversations they are having? What are the kind of follow-ups they are doing? What is the kind of connect they are doing with your customers, right? So all of that data should be captured for them within your organization. Then how do you replicate that winning behavior across the lower performing agents for yours? And that's where you actually get those winning behaviors learned from AI, and then the lower performing agents can actually look at a particular app or really a particular application which can help them guide through the next best action on a specific customer, right? So if you have a customer from a specific demographic in a rural or an urban area, or with a specific age group or a specific demographic, how should you kind of talk to them? What is the right type of policy conversations you should have with them? What product should you sell to them? So all of those recommendations can be enabled through an app on their phone or whatever delivery mechanism you have. So long story short, understand your top performing behaviors, replicate them in your low performing through delivery of these AI-based recommendations on next best action. So
Hope the team is running short of time.
In
What
the
we can
interest
do,
of
we
time,
can do
we'll
a
stop
parallel
over
do a
here.
follow-up, yeah.